Good morning. Today we are starting on lesson 11.4 titled Writing Inequalities. Your goal for the day is to be able to use inequalities to represent real-world problems. I divided this in half again just to make it a little simpler. So tomorrow we will finish the second half. An inequality is a math sentence that shows the relationship between numbers that are not equal. That's where this prefix comes from, inequality. So it's not equal. So if it's not equal, we're going to talk about the different symbols and meanings that we'll be using. So I know you guys know this, but we will be reviewing. This sign means is less than. That's how we'll read it, is less than. Sometimes if you read a word problem, they might use words like fewer than or below. 3 is fewer than 4. That would just mean this less than symbol. There's greater than. When it points that way, it's greater than. When it looks like a less than sign, but then there's that line under it, that means it's less than or equal to. So you could say, I make less than or equal to my sister. So we either make the same amount or I make less. You could say, sometimes in a word problem, you'll read it as at most or no more than the next number. And this one's opposite. So greater than or equal to when there's that line under it. In a word problem, you would read it as at least this number or no less than this number. Now we're going to put some numbers with that to make it a math sentence, and it will make more sense. If to find a solution of an inequality, it's the value, so the amount of the variable that makes the inequality true. So you're going to be finding solutions to these inequalities today. Here's what I mean. 7 is the solution to this problem. X is greater than -2. I always recommend, even if you're working alone, say that out loud to yourself, and that will help you, I promise. X is greater than or equal to -2. Well, 7 can be a solution to that by, if we plug it in and replace the X with the 7, we get 7 is greater than -2. That's true. 7 is bigger, so 7's a solution. But there are several solutions that would have worked. 7 was just one of them. Now, here's another example. Find a solution for 13 is less than X. So you always read these problems from left to right. Again, I really recommend that you read them out loud to yourself when you're alone. 13 is less than X. So that means if 13 is less than X, then we need to find a number that's bigger than 13 to put right there where the X is. So any number higher than 13 will work. 14, 15, 16, and so on will work. Oops, that's the wrong paper. Okay, my next example is B is greater than or equal to -4. So I decided to show you on a number line. I put my dot at -4 because that's the number they gave us. This problem says that B is going to be greater than or equal to negative 4. So that means our solution, it can be negative 4. Or it can be anything that's greater than negative 4. So on a number line, the further right you move, the greater you get. So negative 4 is going to be greater than negative 6 because it's more to the right. I remember that by just saying right is right. Right is right. You always want to keep moving right because that will be bigger. So in this example, any number, since there's a line under this, that means negative 4 or any number above negative 4 can work for B. So I decided to choose negative 3. Negative 3 is greater than or equal to negative 4. If I were you guys and you get confused with your negatives, I would always make a number line because that will help you get a visual, because negative 3 is closer to the positives than negative 4, so that's bigger. Anywhere you go to the right will help. Here's another one. M is less than or equal to 6. So on a number line, I'm going to find the 6, and I'm going to put a dot there. But we're trying to find what M is. Well, we know M is less than 6, so now we're going to go left. Left is less. I always remember that. Left is less. So M is less than or equal to 6. So that means our solution can be 6 because there's that line underneath. Or it could be anything to the left because left is less. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, even a negative number, that will all work to replace M. So I'm going to choose 2. 2 is less than or equal to 6. That can work. But any number to the left of 6 would work. I'm going to try another one. Seven is less than R. So if I were to see this on a number line, and I have 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if I have my 7 here, well, I'm going to start on the 7, but there's not a line underneath this, so we know it can't be 7. But when I read it out loud, it's 7 is less than R. So that means if 7's less than R, R is somewhere over here. It's anywhere above 7. It could be 33, 8, anywhere above 7. If you have trouble with less than or greater than, just remember that you could always remember that the big brother is poking the little brother. I remember that's how I learned it when I was younger. So the R is bigger, so that's like a finger poking the little one. Or some of you might have learned it like the alligator, or just the fact that this big side is the big number and the little tiny corner side is a smaller number. But just remember to read it out loud. So 7 is less than R. So R is going to be bigger than 7.